Hello, I am live. I forgot to do my intro video again. That's okay. How are you? Today is Friday, and I'm so happy to be back with the Empowered Light Leader Show. As always, if you're tuning in, I'd love to hear from you. Comments are always appreciated, and welcome. Today, I am so excited. I'm talking about one of my favorite subjects, and I'm going to give us a couple of minutes for people to sign on. Have my cup of tea and this cozy thing. You know, it's spring, but it's still chilly in New York. If you're coming in, say hi. I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear where in the world you're from. And I'm talking about Starseeds, light workers, and Indigo children, crystal children, rainbow children. The list goes on. Perhaps you've heard these terms, you're familiar with them, and maybe you're not. Please do come say hi. If you just want to sit back and relax and watch, that's cool too. But I'd love to hear from you. Are you a light worker? Do you feel you're a light worker? Do you feel you're a starseed? Do you think of yourself as an indigo child or a rainbow child or a crystal child? What exactly is this? Are you familiar with these terms? Some of you watching on my Facebook page, my YouTube page, you might be in the spiritual community. You might have heard of these terms thrown around. And I think within the New Age community, right, these terms are thrown around a lot. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, we're going to talk about what a light worker is, what is a star seed, what is an indigo child, and then we're going to talk about the purposes of these type of people. And maybe if you are that type of person, but if you just give me 1 second, you know what I'm going to do? I think on Facebook sometimes if I don't change the privacy settings, nobody can see this broadcast on my Facebook page. So let me just go to my Facebook page. I have to change it to public. There I am. Edit privacy. I'm going to change it to public. Now everyone can see me. Yeah, there we go. Now everyone can see me on Facebook. So who do we have? Hi, Devander. Hey, Shelly from Arizona. Oh, tired. So just relax and watch. Good. Yeah, we'll touch base. So for those of you who are just joining, I'm so excited to talk about this topic because I consider myself a light worker. And I realized that, one of my purposes is helping uplift other light workers. And I want to talk about what that is because maybe you might be a light worker and you're not aware of that. I'm also going to talk about our galactic heritage, starseeds. What is that? Because that's another term that's thrown around a lot. You may have heard it, or you may consider yourself one and you're not really sure what that is. So all of these types of souls that I'm going to talk about, right, they all have a similar purpose. And we're going to share what that purpose is. And also they all have a similar, not only purpose, but things, obstacles that might challenge these type of people. Hey, my cousin. I see you too. I don't see you. I feel you. I see you. I see you. Ah. So, I think it's important to talk about these terms and these words in a very grounded way and bring attention to light work and what it is. And, the planet is in desperate need, right? The planet is in desperate need of light work, right? So I'm going to go into a little bit what the light worker is. Then we're going to talk about star seeds and indigo children. If you have any questions at any point, put them in the chat. If you think you might be a light worker or a star seed, or if things are resonating with you, put it in the chat. I love to interact with you. So, a light worker. I've been taking spiritual classes for about 8 years, and it's a very common term, light worker. I call myself the empowered light leader. Okay, so what is a light worker? I believe that there are people, souls, who incarnate on this earth to hold the light. Okay, so they've incarnated, and we're going to go into star seeds a little bit about that as well. But they've incarnated here this time, this purpose to shift the energy of the planet. Okay, hold the light, anchor their light to hold space for the planet. Kayla, man, says, I love you. I love you too, Kayla. I love the love. Thank you. Thank you so much. So they've agreed to incarnate at this time to hold space, to hold energy for the planet, to move the planet along. And in my mind's eye, I see these light workers, these souls, as people plugged in all across the earth, these little lights, these little lights that hold and anchor the weight of the planet. Now, let's go into, is there anybody who considers themselves a light worker? Now, a light worker, I can go into a little bit about what it is. It's somebody who's here to, yes, um, change the vibration of the planet, and also people who incarnated to move the planet along, and kind of break apart old paradigms. Okay, and we're going to talk about Indigo Children because that's really one of their functions too. But light workers often have chosen, okay, and some of this may resonate with you. They have chosen particularly challenging life lessons. Okay, yes, yes. I am a photographer. Oh, yes, you work with light. That's right. Um, they have one of the commonalities, okay, with people who have chosen a light worker path. All right, this might be you. And I'm going to go into a little bit about why I'm even having this conversation, because I feel like it's my purpose to help these type of people, because the world needs light workers to be in their power. We need healers. Okay. We need more of that sort of energy. Definitely resonate with light worker and Starseed. Yeah, Kaylin, I'm going to go into me too. And I'm going to go into Starseed in a minute. So light workers have chosen particularly challenging life lessons. um, who can relate to that? Are there those of you watching who feel like, geez, like, I truly believe, just to give you a little bit of background, I'm not sure if everyone has the same belief system. Uh, I truly believe that we contract for this earthly life, for this experience, that our souls are bigger than our humanity. Okay. And me, Shelly says me. So we contract for the earth life. And some may equate it with a school. It's of learning, but it's really remembering. We come here to remember more of our light and remember that we are love, and how we make meaning of that is our path, our journey, right? So we may have chosen to incarnate with particularly, oh, she's saying me with the challenging life lessons, Shelley, right? Yeah. We may have chosen particularly challenged life lessons because it's merely a way of not only moving our energy along, but we're also doing a lot of planetary work. Now, what does that mean? So every time you are able to kind of clear some energy within yourself, keep in mind that we're all connected and we're all one. So you're also clearing energy for the planet. So I'll give you an example of that. It's kind of like ancestral work, planetary healing work. You know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with the divine feminine. So I do believe that my feminine energy is healing, because I'm meant to sort of heal the broken feminine energy just by who I am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Right. So some of you could be doing all kinds of planetary work where it feels like it's so heavy, right? Light workers, these challenges we have in our life, our parents, our family, or just, empathic people too, where we pick up so much energy. You're every time you learn these lessons for yourself, you're learning them for the planet, really. And you're shifting energy for the planet. So that's the light worker's journey, really. And what are some of the challenges of a light worker? Well, I think across the board, with all these souls that I'm speaking of, they're all highly sensitive, awakened, ascended souls. Now, it is possible, I do believe, that in other lifetimes, you've already ascended, that you've completed your soul's mission, but you've contracted and come back here to help awaken the planet. Some of you might resonate with that, Um, the work that you're doing is for humanity. Yes, for your own ascension and soul path, because we're all one. But some of the problems we have, as light workers, is that, you could feel lonely. And that's the star seed energy too. And I'm going to talk about that. Sometimes it feels very lonely, doesn't it? It feels very lonely to, kind of see things from this place where it feels like maybe the rest of the world is still awakening and not on the same path, right? So you've done that work because you've come here to make change, but maybe the rest of the world is catching up. So it can feel very lonely, okay? And it can feel heavy. And also, I noticed that a lot of light workers have similar problems where they have a lot of lack of self worth. Okay. Does anyone relate to that? I know I can relate to that. Um, Long from home a lot. Yes, Amanda, good point. We're going to talk about that. Longing for home. Yeah. Not feeling like you're from here, feeling like you want to go back. Not that you want to die per se, but that you just don't feel like you belong. Like you're from a different age, you're from a different place. What the hell is wrong with everyone? I've already learned this. Why am I here? Joanna says, yes, you resonate with that. Yeah. Those are some symptoms of being a light worker. And I certainly can relate to that, as well as just picking up the energy of the world and just feeling heavy and feeling like, wow, is things ever going to change? Like the other day, I walked into CVS and there was all this hysteria with like someone was looking for bleach and the vaccine, and there's this loudspeaker talking about, I don't know. I just felt like I was in this weird sci-fi Twilight Zone episode, and I was like, "Really? I contracted for this?" Right? So we have these moments. I feel like I am from here in many lifetimes. Yeah, you are. If you feel that way, you are. Old souls. You've had many lifetimes, and you've come here, come back to help. Okay, and then we talk about star seeds. Have you guys heard of the term starseed? So I'm going to share with you. Um, I think maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, I found that word starseed. Hurts my ears a lot of drama. Yeah, oh, yeah, and that's a good point, Amanda. I'm going to talk about sensitivity. Um, your ears, your eyes. Um, a lot of psychic people who are light workers, star seeds. When you first acclimate to Earth, right, from your last lifetime. I remember when I was a kid. You brought up a good point. And then I'll go back into the star seeds. But I remember when I was a kid, I could not tolerate yelling of any kind. Like I remember it was the 80s, the movie 48 Hours, if you know, with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte, and they're always yelling at each other. My mom told me that I said to her, why the brown man and the peach man yelling at each other? Like I could not tolerate any kind of yelling. I couldn't go to concerts. And in fact, I think I talked about in another live, I didn't understand why I had eyelids. Like I should always see the light. So you're so close to the other side at that point. Have your guides come to the vaccine? Uh, yeah, Shelly, that might be a conversation for another live. I'm not going to talk about that on this live, but yeah, they have. So, star seeds. So I always a symptom of thinking you're a star. So what is a star seed first? Let's talk about that. Okay. So I'm not sure everyone's beliefs who's watching. Okay. There might be some of you who are very familiar with this, and some of you are like, I say what? I don't know. So I'm kind of trying to try to serve everybody who's watching right now. Love and light, good vibes and blessings to you. High energy, all of you. Oh, great. Mwah. Thank you, Courtney. So some of you might be watching and know exactly what I mean. Others you might have heard the word starseed for the first time. So, when I was in my early 20 or mid 20s, I went to some psychic event and I walked in and the lady said to me, "You're a starseed." And I was like, "What the?" And she said, "You're Palladian." I had never heard that before. And she told me why she thought I was that, right? My features and my energy, whatever. So it sent me on this rabbit hole and this quest of like, I was so intrigued. Like, what is that? Or am I from another planet? Because I do remember my whole childhood, I always used to look at the stars. I remember being in the back seat. And if you have this affinity for the stars and just for like learning about more about, space and UFOs, that's the chance that you've lived lifetimes on other planets. And I do believe many of us have, and it's not that uncommon of a thing. It's not as woo woo as you think. I do believe in life on other planets and star systems, and that we've incarnated on other planets. So you've had planets on other lifetimes and you've come into a human lifetime. That's a star seed. And I'll go into a little bit about the different planets. But I do remember being a child and always like, I would look at the stars and I would say, where am I from? And who's watching me? And are you there? And I would like I knew on some level. I'm a healer, empath, light worker, and star seed, remembering it all. And thank you. I understand. Beautiful. Yeah, we are all these things, right? We're not just one thing. But I think Amanda said earlier, longing for home. Understanding on some level that you're more than just human, and knowing that there is a place somewhere beyond beyond this, just knowing in your heart. And you know when I channel, I'm leaving this dimension. And for those of you who do channeling work or even in meditation, you may have traveled, astral projected, left your body, right? You may have experienced other realities, other dimensions, even in your physical body. We still can go to these places. And when you go to these places, there's such pure heavenly love because the vibration is much higher. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the different star systems that I felt, the vibrations there is so much higher that there's this feeling of longing. I've done channeling and then come back and been sad. I get depressed. Depression is another symptom of this. I'm always taking pictures and always looking at the stars a lot of times. I receive pictures in the sky. Yeah, so then you're definitely a star seed. So, there's a sadness because you can go to these places and the vibration is different because it's a higher dimension. Earth is a lower dimension and the energy is denser. Whenever I do channeling, they always say, we understand the energy is dense here. So you can forget and it's easier for us per se. So you may have experienced out of body and moments of bliss and meditation. If you have, let me know. And so I myself have. And when I first started channeling, like I said, I was so curious about what are star seeds. And I would connect a lot with different beings from different planets. And in fact, I remember I found a website called like starseeds.net. And it would ask you, ask what type of star seed are you? Um, and I just wanted to know, where I was from. And it said to ask, and I didn't hear an answer. And I remember I was blow drying my hair, and all of a sudden I heard Lyra, and I didn't know what that was. I never heard that word in my life. I didn't know what Lyra was. It is not like I looked on the computer and it was in my head. No, I was like, me blow drying my hair, Lyra or Lyra, and I was like, what is that? And sure enough, it's a star, Lyra and Vega. And then going down that rabbit hole and figuring out, what that is all about. That's, even more of a conversation for another live or even a series of workshops where we talk about our galactic heritage, which I really am very intrigued to do. And if you're interested in that, let me know. I would love to do a series of workshops on our galactic heritage and where we come from and how we're still connected. But anyway, so I remember just being so intrigued by that and then learning about Sirius, the Sirian beings and the Palladians and the Arcturians and the Andromedans and all these other beings really that are here to assist in humanity's evolution. So as I've developed my ability to channel, I've channeled the Galactic Federation of Light and other star beings that Lyrian, yay, Kayla. Yes, Lyrian sister, yes. So I do resonate with Lyra, Sirius as well, and Andromeda. And I know I've had many lifetimes on different planets, but that fascinates me. So some obstacles of being a star seed, again, we talked about sadness, depression, loneliness, longing for home, feeling ahead of your time. Okay. You talk about, galactic heritage works up to be amazing. Yes, Courtney, it's something I really would like to do. Syrian, yes. So you talk about, I speak light language and I was activated, just not seeking it out. So this is something, you might have a symptom of being a light worker, a star seed. You might have highly developed spiritual gifts that are not, they're not something that is something everyone can have, right? Something everyone can have, and also whenever I channel Jesus, light beings, whatever, their whole message is always unity, always oneness. So all these gifts that come in for us, they come in maybe ahead of the game, more advanced than maybe some other people, because we're here to lead. And so that leads me to, the light leader, right? That's why I call myself the empowered light leader, because I do believe light workers, star seeds, indigos, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those in a minute. But I do believe that we are here to lead, you know, lead with the light. So because we're here to lead, right? What does that mean? Unity, yes, unity always, Kayla, right? Unity, oneness, love. We are not separated. There's no such thing as separation. God, Mary, Jesus, all of them, they're not outside of you. They're not to be worshiped. When you invoke them from your heart center, right? Because they are you. You are that. But what was I saying? You know, all these messages, right? They're all for the purpose. We're here to lead. That's what I was saying, that we're here to lead. So because we're here to lead, right? Us light workers, that's who I want to serve. And I've talked about this. I just did a post on this. When you're in service, right? As a spiritual healer, right? You know that you want to serve humanity, but you also know that there's a certain type of person that you are made to serve. And I do believe one of my purposes is to serve light workers because they're needed. You're needed. There's a light that wants to work through you. So let's help each other get out of the way. And what are some of the things that hold light workers, star seeds back? Um, it's, sudden throbbing in my body and ascension symptoms. It comes and goes with intense fatigue. Yeah, me too, girl. In my heart and mind, I am better than ever, but it's just my body. Yeah. Yeah. So let me touch upon that in a second. Ascension symptoms. That's a good one. So, what I was talking about is there's lack of self-worth, all these things that get in our way. We're here to lead, we're here to hold the light and do a job, right? And do a job. But there's human aspects of us that we came here to overcome. And some of the commonalities woven within that, yes, lack, right? Conditioning, fear of being seen and judged. We know we're supposed to lead, but we're afraid. We're afraid of being judged. And a lot of us have had many lifetimes, right, where we've been condemned or burned at the stake, or we've had these lives where we've been persecuted. So we keep ourselves safe and we're afraid of being judged. That's a common one. That's one I get a lot. Another one is, lack of confidence, lack of self-worth, because a lot of you healers out there, remember, you chose these life lessons because we're evolving now and we need to clear that energy. So you're doing that clearing work for the planet. So those are the common threads. That's why I've created my business as the Empowered Light Leader. I want to empower light workers and light leaders. That's why I have, courses for those type of people, right? Because that's who I'm here to serve. But let me talk about, being stabbed and tortured, me as well. Ascension symptoms, yeah. So she brings up a good point. What are ascension symptoms? Okay. Now, some of you might be really familiar with this, others of you are not. So I don't know who my audience is here. So I'm talking to everybody. Remember that, okay? Um, you know, I like many other people, have we speak about the ascension, okay, the planet. So, what does that really mean? Okay, I want you to think in terms of energy. All right, so you hear that term thrown around a lot. Another term we hear thrown around a lot is 3D, 5D. What does that really mean in a way that's easy to understand? It's just in terms of frequency and energy. So, a third dimensional energy is just denser energy, dense, okay? And the higher in the dimensions you get, the less dense the energy and more vibrating on the frequency of love. Okay. And imagine, I want you to imagine that God is the highest, right? Pure source, pure oneness, pure love, right? Everything. Okay. Oneness. But there are degrees to attain to that pure love. And so, in a denser reality where we're at right now, it's more fractured, separate self. Okay, it's more removed from the love energy. It's denser. Okay, so the higher scaling up the dimensions we go, the higher the vibration, the more that love energy is vibrating. All right. So the reason why we experience physical symptoms when you start to evolve, okay, and this is a good conversation to have because you may hear these things and really not understand them in reasonable terms. So when you start doing inner work on yourself and you start meditating, right, and you start following your heart and really going within to the pain and going into the conditioning and going into the limiting beliefs. And maybe you start doing mediumship, or maybe you start channeling, or maybe your spiritual gifts come in. What's really happening is, okay, you're just bringing in more light. Okay. Every time you purge and you release anything that's less than love within you, because you're really just a pure being of love, right? So anytime you do that, I always use this analogy, who you are in essence is a pure being of light, right? Okay. So you are like a clear vessel, but because of conditioning, because of the choices to incarnate as human and just the way life is, all right, you've picked up some cruddy water, and that cruddy water is wounds, pain, and also conditioned beliefs from humanity. It's just things we've incarnated into. It's in the reality. So over time we cope, and that kind of that crust, that crud falls to the bottom, and it's in our subconscious programming. We're not aware of it. It's that bottom layer of crud. So what happens is, now this is on an individual and a collective level, and I'm really explaining ascension symptoms or any kind of physical symptoms from spirituality. So when you start to connect with more love, okay, streaming in more light, and think about it, if you're speaking light language, if you're channeling, if you're meditating, you're just connecting to more light. So what happens is, okay, that stream of pure light, what it does is it brings up the crud, the dirt, okay? It's not nothing new. It's just highlighting with contrast, right? And so that's happening on a physical, energetical level as your body is purging and releasing toxins, and you're activating parts of your DNA that have never been activated before. You're becoming more sensitive. Yes, your sleep patterns are changing. Yes, you can't eat the same foods that you used to eat. Yes, you can't watch the same TV shows. You can't keep the same company, right? You have to change your lifestyle. Has anyone experienced this? Right? You have to change the way you live because you're ascending. And so, like I said, it happens on an individual level, but it's also happened collectively. So the planet Mother Earth, right? She's chosen to ascend. Okay. Jessica says, yes, good. I'm glad this is resonating. So Mother Earth has collectively, I know there's some darkness going on still here, yes, but collectively the choice is made to ascend. So because of that, we're going forward now. So all the old stuff has to be purged. And so you might experience all these symptoms because of that. Okay, so you're feeling things collectively and individually. Now, some good tips for that. If that's happening to you, okay, well, you got chills, right? If that's happening to you now, if you're experiencing fatigue, achiness, oh God, I can relate to that. Okay, heart palpitations, flutters. I've heard some weird ones. People get nauseous. There are certain days where I'm just like, I can't move. First of all, I want to say honor where you're at. Okay. Honor where you're at. Don't push yourself. Just try your best to take good care of yourself. Make sure you detox. All right. There's different things to do to detox to clear your energy. You can take Epsom salt baths with baking soda. There's oils you can put on your feet. There's different like bentonite clay. There's different ways to detox, but you got to take care of your body because your body is your vessel. So make sure you get plenty of water. Um, and like take certain vitamins. There's different supplements you can take that are very important. I don't have like the list in front of me. I could do another workshop on detox for spiritual healers, but detox and taking care of yourself and knowing right your energy is important, especially for healers, right? Because you're giving so much for light workers, for healers, like we give so much, don't we? All right. And finally, yeah, I have some good detox tips, things I've noticed that have worked for myself as well. If I do a channeling, I know that boundaries too. Boundaries should be part of that too, because all these people that I'm talking about that I named, light workers, healers, right? We get another symptom or a trait. We tend to be givers. We give, give, give. So boundaries are so important. And finally, we did a 3-day water fasting. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I've never tried that. But yeah, fasting, some people do fasting. Um, I want to just mention Indigo Children. So there's a lot of thrown out there indigos, crystals, rainbows, and I don't know too much about it. But what I want to say is that people believe that there's different waves of souls that incarnate, right, to play certain roles. And now I've heard the indigos. There's a certain period of time they started incarnating. I think it's like late 70s, 80s, or maybe even the 60s too. These people were like the first wave of older souls, already really done the work here to come back. And they really laid the forefront and the foreground for the other souls that came in later, like the crystal children and the rainbow children, right? I'm not, am I saying that this is totally true? I don't know. But I do believe there are waves of souls that come to help clear the energy of the planet as well as the star seed. So, um, the indigos were really here to break down old paradigms. Okay. And their personalities tend to be like, we're not going to take this. They're rebels. They don't believe in authority. They challenge and question authority. I feel like I have some indigo in me. Um, like, oh, you want me to do this? Why do you want me to do this? Like, I always found it was very hard to hold this conventional job because when they would say things, just do this, I'd be like, but why? I always questioned why. So that's a trait of an indigo. They're here to break down the old structures, not settle for things. So I thought that was worth mentioning. So all of these, really, I just wanted to have this conversation because I feel it's important to educate and clarify what these things are because they're thrown out a lot. Um, and empower the light worker. Um, very excited to announce in June, I have a new course coming out called the Empowered Light Leader, and it's a 12-week, a 3-month program empowering spiritual healers to become entrepreneurs and do all the mindset and strategy work to launch a spiritual business because why shouldn't we get paid for our spiritual gifts, right? I could never hold a conventional job. And I always knew I was born to be an entrepreneur, that God gave me, right, spiritual gifts and I could monetize them and I shouldn't have shame. There's a lot of um, stigma with spiritual healers and charging for money. Okay. And some of you might be watching who relate to that, who are healers. Hey, hi, Adrian. Who are healers who, you want to monetize your gift, but you feel bad for charging. Well, this course might be for you. So I'm walking you through like the mindset. Who are you? Who do you want to serve? And what are the things that get in the way of that? And how do you market yourself? How do you create an offer? How do you get online? And how do you sell? And how do you do it in a way that feels good to you, that's not compromising who you are. I am so excited for this course. That's going to be launching in June. I do have a masterclass that's coming in May called Becoming the Conscious Creator, where I'm really talking about how to get your power back, um, and monetize your gifts and pursue your dreams and get the confidence to do that. Because why shouldn't you? Right? Why shouldn't you? If God gave you a gift, then you're here to use it, right? So true. I was thinking about bartering because I feel bad about charging. Yeah, and if it's with a friend, sure, barter, right? But if you want to make a business, like how do you do that? And how do we get past the stigma of charging or people saying no to us and not feeling rejected and aligning with service and purpose and who do we serve and how do we attract this person? And it's taken me a while to figure it out. And I launched my business in July, and I said, you know what? I've learned so much. I want to create the tools and the steps for people who are like me, who maybe don't have the confidence yet or the know how, and they were meant to shine and really pursue their dreams. They just need the steps and the knowledge and the strategy and the mindset. So that course is coming in June. Next week, or the week after, I'm launching my light language course. I'm really excited about that. And for any of you here who are watching who already speak light language, I know I do a lot of posting about light language. If you've never seen me before, I do speak light language, and one of my purposes is to help others awaken to their light language. Um, but I'm finding as I talk to people, there are some people who want to awaken to it. That was my course that I created that I'm going to be doing 2 weeks from now. But if you're already speaking it, I am thinking about creating some kind of group for people or a group course for people who are already speaking light language, but just need the courage and the confidence. Because what I do find is that a lot of you have spiritual gifts and they've already come in. You're not confident about them. You're not trusting them. So let's work on that. If that's you, if you have a spiritual gift and you just don't feel like you're confident, let me know. Message me. I'd love to work with you. Um, you're shining. I see you glow. You surpass what is needed to be. Oh, thank you. I love that. I want to awaken to my gifts, but I don't know where to start. Oh, okay. How do I say your name? Is it Jessica? Am I saying it right? Yeah. Well, message me, and you might be a good fit for my program or some of the mentoring work that I do because you all have gifts. I like your channel messages. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Jessica. Okay, Jessica. All right, Jessica. Yeah, so it's spelled differently. Okay, I'm assuming you're from a different country, right? Yeah. So you might just need some confidence getting in touch with what those gifts are, right? Feel the love, Michelson. Thank you. So, yeah, so you all have spiritual gifts. And if your desire is to monetize them and live your dream and actually do, what you were meant here to do, what you came here to do, lots of Jessicas here. Yeah. That might be a good course for you. So certainly reach out to me. If you're watching on YouTube, you want to reach out to my email. It's Sarah@empoweredlightleader.com. And you can be on my email list. I'm also planning on running some workshops. And I think the next workshop I'm going to do a channeling, perhaps bringing in Jesus and the council. I channel a council now. They call themselves the Collective of Light. And I just feel like it's a bunch of ascended beings just all here. So I am going to channel them and do some invocations and meditations and some inner work. Oh, I would love for you guys to be a part of that. I'm developing these things now. But the Empowered Light Leader course launches in June, and the other offerings are being developed now. And I do private mentoring and healing sessions as well. Yes, and my daughter's name is Faye. Oh, I love that name, Faye, and I love how you spell it. Oh, wow. Oh, so she and her. Wow, that's wow. Jessica Faye, and the other Jessica's daughter's name is Faye. Wow, that's interesting, right? So, if you're not connected to me, again, it's Sarah at empoweredlightleader.com. I'll put you on my email list, and make sure you're connected to me so you can be part of these things. And if you're interested in these groups, so you can get the information, I also have a Facebook group, the Empowered Light Leader on Facebook. So if you're watching on YouTube, you want to be a part of that, I'd love to have you. So this has been a great conversation. Okay, I think I'm gonna withdraw a little bit now. I'm gonna head back. I'm getting a little tired. I'm gonna rest. But I love having this conversation. I'm so excited for doing more workshops. Do you work with angels and archangels too? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All of them. I feel them all. There are certain times when I feel some archangels come through. I always connect to Archangel Michael, Archangel Ariel, Archangel Gabriel, and Raphael as well. And I asked them to be in my healings. When I first started developing, actually, Adrian, it was the archangels that I connected to the most and the angels. And then my love for star seeds and galactic beings came through as well. But they're all there. And anytime you ask for them, they're there because you are them. We are one, right? Um, you're welcome, Sal. Oh, so happy you were watching. Oh, you're welcome, Samantha. Great question. I wondered the same thing. Wondered about the angels, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, any being that you wish to work with is accessible. They're all there, especially the archangels, because they can be everywhere all at once, right? So just go with what you resonate with, right? But yes, I do invoke the archangels frequently, and I feel their energy when I invoke them. Sending you guys so much love. I love going live with my show. Um, I will be back. Remember, the group starts in June. There'll be more information about that. Hasn't officially launched yet. I'm just excited to talk about it and really get you light workers going on your path, to start, doing what you want to do and making money from it and releasing the shame of making money, right? As long as you're in alignment with your heart, right? As long as you're in alignment with what's morally right for you, then there's nothing wrong with charging or asking for money because God wants you to have money, right? You need money to live, right? And do the things you want to do because it's an abundant universe. You're welcome, Jessica. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go lie down now. I'm so tired. um, oh, hi. This may sound a bit out there, but it's true. If you sing to the Son of Love and thanks, the Sun will answer you with stronger healing ways. Oh, that's not far out. I totally believe that. The Sun is God. It's the energy of the divine masculine. Yeah, sing to the sun. I love that. Love and light. Beautiful weekend. Good rest. Thank you so much. Sending you guys love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone. Bye.